it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, August 10th. So today we have the moon in Capricorn going void, of course, around 12:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and moving into Aquarius energy, 2:46. So we actually moved into the full moon window last night. That window is going to intensify as we move into this Aquarian energy, setting us up for our full moon on Thursday. If you have not downloaded your moon guide, I'm going to recommend you do so. This particular energy is going to be intense, as most full moon energies are, but just keep in mind that we're still in the Lionsgate portal. Huge transformational time that we're in, huge shift time. We also have the last day of Venus being in Cancer, which adds a little bit of another layer of intensity, trying to wrap up the life lessons that she is supposed to learn before jumping into Leo energy. And just keep in mind, she moves into Leo energy just before we have our full moon energy peak. There are 11 different aspects here today. 9 of them involve the moon. So just keep in mind also that the moon in Capricorn is always supposed to highlight for us where it is that we feel stuck, where it is that we feel held back, restricted, blocked in actually being able to move forward. There's a huge weight of roles, responsibilities, commitments weighing on our shoulders that make it hard for us to cut the cord with old roles, responsibilities, and commitments. But as we transition into the Aquarian energy, we see things from a different set of eyes. We see where it is that we have to change certain roles and responsibilities. We see where it is that maybe due to the bigger, greater, grander vision that we're working on, that we have to cut the cord with old topics and themes altogether. The Aquarian energy sets us free. The Capricorn energy shows us where we're trapped. So we are going to feel this intensity. We are going to feel this emotion. And as we kind of progress through the Aquarian energy, we will start to see new details emerge, new perspectives emerge, and that will essentially show us how we are going to change the elements that we have deemed are restrictive and are blocking our progress. So the moon is going to make a very tough aspect with Saturn. Saturn rules over Capricorn energy, and this particular aspect is giving us a little bit of a situation where there's likely something going to pop off out in our external realm, likely from a personal relationship, likely showing us where it is that we are weighted down, where we are stuck, especially trying to show up for other people. This comes back down to the roles and responsibilities, the commitments that we've aligned with, and recognizing where it is that those particular situations are now sucking the life out of us. This, again, is meant to humble us, meant to ground us, meant for us to get very real, very realistic with what it is that we have to change in our lives in order to lighten the vibe and actually free ourselves from some of these restrictions. The moon will trine Mars, which is a beautiful energy, seeing that, of course, the Capricorn energy that the moon is in, the Taurus energy that Mars is in, they're both earth energies. Mars being the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, even our anger. In a trine, though, means that we are tapping into the best possible qualities of both energies. This is going to inspire us, motivate us, show us where it is that we need to have a little bit more discipline, where it is that we do have to be a little bit more assertive and aggressive to go out and take control over the elements in our lives that aren't working so well. This is definitely going to boss us up to a new level, mind, body, and soul, to position us to actually roll up our sleeves and start getting our hands dirty in making sure that we are in control of making the changes and the transformations that we know that we have to make in order to get a different result. The moon will be interacting with Mercury, who is in its place of power in Virgo energy. Reminder, Mercury in Virgo, mind over matter. Okay, we are analyzing, we are diving deep into the details, we are trying to reorganize and restructure our inner realm and our outer realm, and we are looking at what needs to be organized in a better way, a better fashion to actually support our daily grind, our routines, our habits, our mental health. The moon interacting with Mercury in this way is going to highlight for us where our heart and head are not agreeing. They're not on the same page. The moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. There needs to be this illumination of where it is that our heart and head are not on the same page in order for us to actually make them get on the same page. We have to recognize the problem before we can apply a solution. This particular energy is also highly probable to trigger certain conversations that need to be had. There might be a little bit of a power struggle in these particular conversations, but again, we are really pushing to get our heart and our head on the same page, and sometimes that requires us to communicate a little bit more, I'm going to say, raw and vulnerable than we would like in order for the air to be cleared and for everybody to be on the same page. The moon is going to sextile Neptune. This is a beautiful energy because Neptune is in its place of power in Pisces. Although retrograde, this is putting us in our inner realm, searching for a new vision, for a new dream, for a new goal. We are highly inspired. We are highly creative. We want to kind of, push ourselves out in imaginary la la land to see what our heart and soul is trying to conjure up for us. With the moon in Capricorn, it's a very down-to-earth, humbling, realistic energy. We're actually able to take some of the visuals, some of the inspirations that we're tapping into with this Neptune energy, especially our intuitive gut feeling, our insight that we are receiving from the higher realms, and we're bringing it into the physical body. We're bringing it down to earth. We are actually looking at where we can apply logic and practicality, where we can apply strategy in being able to actually bring some of these elements to life. The moon will be interacting with Jupiter in a very positive way. Jupiter, of course, all about our growth, all about showing us where it is that we need to push through the boundaries, through the obstacles and challenges in order to get to the other side, because the other side holds a lot of blessings and abundance for us. Jupiter is retrograde in Aries energy. We are doing a reflection back to April and May. That's when many of us kind of realized we had to cut the cord with certain elements of the past in order to actually create something new. We may have been really impulsive in trying to create something new, not really thinking the strategy through as much as we should have. And now is kind of like a reflection, not only on the efforts in which we've made, the growth, the improvements that we've made since that particular time frame, but we're moving inward to grow our trust, our belief within ourselves, within the universe, within this process that many of us are having to really struggle in being able to trust. It's very uncomfortable to reinvent, to rebrand oneself, and having this particular energy where, Capricorn energy is like the general foreman of the zodiac. We are taking a good look at all that has transpired and making a couple of, I'm going to say, criticisms on what we could have done better, what we will do better when given the second chance. The moon is going to sit right next to, come up to, bump into, sit right next to Pluto, the god of the underworld, the great transformer himself, who is retrograde in Capricorn energy. This particular energy is intense. Now, here's the thing. Pluto is screaming, hey, you got to make a change. Hey, you got to do a deep dive in your emotions, in your psyche. You got to look at the past, the way it happened, the way it unfolded, and see that it was divinely scripted for you to be standing in this moment, in your place of power, in your greatest place of authority, to take control, to take your power back. Now, this is a dark intense energy. We get this empowerment from the pain, the trauma, the suffering, the struggle from our past experiences. But you know what? It's coming at a beautiful time as we, again, still in the peak energy of the Lionsgate portal that just screams transformation and change. And we're moving into the full moon in Aquarius, which is a zap, a sudden shift, a shock, a disruption to push us into something new. 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the sun in Leo getting into the boxing ring with the true note. So the boxing ring is a square. We have to fight something out. There's a tension, there's a conflict. And with the north node of the moon, which is what we call the true note, in Taurus energy, again, on the Taurus and Scorpio axis, we are essentially needing to feel this discomfort to show us where it is that we are unhappy, dissatisfied, or unaligned with particular energies. Now, this could be an internal realization, realizing that our heart and our head are in a disagreement and we're taking physical actions in the outside world that we're really not in agreement with. Maybe we're allowing our ego to lead when our heart and our head is telling us that we're not on the right path. We're pursuing something that our ego wants and not something that feels good to our heart and soul. Or it could illuminate where it is that we're dissatisfied with our current path, our current relationship, our current job, or it could really illuminate where it is that the disagreements are popping up in our personal relationships. And a lot of the reason for this, the primary root cause of this, is feeling powerless in our own lives, in our own emotional field or mental field, and therefore trying to exert control and power in our external realm, in our personal relationships. And of course, that power struggle isn't going to last very long, and it gets illuminated to us where it is that maybe we're just in the wrong relationship, the wrong situation, the wrong job, the wrong direction in order for us to actually grow, to actually be in alignment with something that feels good, a mission, a purpose. And let me just say here, because we have all of these swirling energies, it's going to feel like we are being kind of beat up, bullied to get us out of our comfort zone. We are recognizing how uncomfortable we are in the comfort zone that we've created in order for us to realize that if we want to be doing something different, we're going to have to do something different. If we are sitting around praying for a different reality to manifest, we actually have to do something to create a different reality in order to actually manifest it. So like I said, the moon being in this Capricorn energy is supposed to highlight for us where it is that we are feeling blocked, restricted, unaligned, in order for us to see when we move into this Aquarius energy, all the different options and opportunities that we have to free ourselves from certain blockages. Mercury is going to interact with Chiron in a very beautiful way that would suggest that we are making some progress, not only uncovering and unearthing some of the issues that are taking place in our physical realm, in our mental realm, in our emotional realm, but we are trying to figure out how to provide a solution to that and in turn heal that part of self. Chiron, being the wounded healer, is retrograde in Aries, and Mercury, again in its place of power in Virgo, is doing a deep dive into the very small details of the inner workings of our mental plane, of our heart space, of our current circumstances, and where it is that maybe our lives are a little bit of a mess because we were unconsciously on autopilot, just floating through the circumstances happening to us, not realize that they were happening for us so that we could become aware and conscious of these particular situations and take control of the narrative. There is a huge amount of aha moments streaming in. Again, once we get into this Aquarian energy, the flashes of aha moments, the light bulbs going off are going to be pretty intense. 12:40 p.m., this is the last aspect that the moon in Capricorn is going to make before going void, of course. And the moon is going to be in a very direct, conflicting, opposite situation from Venus, who, like I had mentioned, is wrapping up her life lessons in this Cancer energy. As Venus gets to the very end of that Cancer energy, she's entering into the critical degrees. Those critical degrees are also known as crisis degrees in order for us to feel the intensity to wrap things up. This particular energy is going to feel pushed and pulled, ripped and torn. Why? Because Capricorn and Cancer energy sit across from one another in the zodiac wheel. The Capricorn energy is very much linked to, taking control over one's reputation, one's career, one's finances, one's roles and responsibilities in life, one's karma, if you will. While the Cancer energy, yes, wants that safety and security, but wants it more in the emotional field where the home and the family dynamic is concerned. Now, if you need to go back and listen to what Venus being in Cancer was all about, definitely go ahead and listen to that. But what we know to be true is that over the last couple of weeks of her transit in Cancer energy, we should have identified where it is that we're not feeling lovable, we're not feeling worthy, we're not feeling valued in order for us to do the work in our inner realm and in our personal relationships to try to fill those voids, to heal those wounds. And we should have been recognizing what it is that we actually value the most, especially where our home and our family dynamics are concerned, where boundaries have been tested and in some cases destroyed altogether and needed new ones to be created in order to protect ourselves. And realistically, we should have been using our hypersensitivity, our over emotional state, our very hyper intuitive state while Venus was in Cancer to not only figure out where it is and why it is that we feel so bad about ourselves or our relationships or our current situation in life or our home or our family dynamic, whatever the topics and themes may be, but we should have also realized where it is that we have to nurture ourselves back to a place of health and wellness and safety. That Cancer energy is very nurturing. It's the mother role of the zodiac, while the Capricorn energy nurtures in a more tough love type of way because it is the father or masculine energy of the zodiac being ruled over by Saturn. We're definitely learning, through the tough love method more so than the kind, empathetic, compassionate energy that this Cancer energy would tend to want to give us over that rigid, tough love type of vibe. So the moon opposing, sitting across from Venus right now, we're really kind of getting stirred up. This could actually show us where it is that we are still feeling vulnerable, where we are feeling overly protective and defensive with our emotions, with our relationships. We're still struggling. And at that crisis degree that Venus is currently sitting at, there is this urgency, this intensity, which does kind of create a little bit of chaos and confusion on what it is exactly that we want, need, and desire in order to feel emotionally safe, secure, nurtured, loved, and taken care of. This is the point in time when the moon is going to go void. So between 12:40 p.m. and 2:46 p.m., again, Eastern Standard Time, things are going to be hella crazy, hella shaky, very, very heavy, very confusing. We don't want to make any decisions, commit to anything while the moon is void. It does take a little bit of time in order to enter into a brand new energy, a brand new sign, and stabilize in order for us to feel good. Now, what we got going for us is that we're leaving the very heavy, intense earth energy of of Capricorn, and we are moving into the air energy of Aquarius. This is big vision. This is the observer mentality. But keep in mind, we're in a full moon energy, so things are going to be illuminated. Things are going to pop off. Things are going to come out of the woodwork. We need this particular details to emerge so that we can see things from a different perspective. The very first aspect that the moon in Aquarius makes is a positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer. This gives us a bird's eye view view of the pain, of the trauma, of the suffering, of where it is that we felt low, we felt devalued, we felt unworthy, we felt stuck. We need to have this bird's eye view so that we can see all sides of the situation and circumstances, because in Aquarian energy, we tend to be able to emotionally detach a lot easier so that we can formulate and process what's going on in our emotional realm without having the emotions take over. Again, it's like we can detach, almost disassociate a little bit, keep it in the mental plane, use our higher self, our observer mentality to actually dive into some of the emotions that we just got illuminated to so that we can think our way out of it instead of feel our way out of it. The moon, the last aspect the moon in Aquarius is going to make here today is a very positive interaction with Mercury, who again is in its place of power in Virgo. This is a beautiful energy, first of all, because Mercury being in Virgo focuses in on the details, focuses in on the problem. We're here to provide a solution. We're here to heal certain situations, especially where reorganizing and restructuring our perspective, our understanding, our thoughts, our emotions are concerned. Having the moon in Aquarius giving us this observer mentality, this bird's eye view, this objective type of perspective, being able to kind of pick apart and dissect our circumstances, our thoughts, our emotions without being totally entrenched by the emotions is a beautiful thing. Having Mercury do the deep dive in our mental plane in this Virgo energy, we're having to see where it is that we have to restructure, rewrite the inner narrative, rewrite how it is that we understand certain events to have popped off. We have to kind of understand that we are doing a deep dive in our psyche and in our emotions because there are aha moments, connections that need to be made, illuminations that need to be made as we go into this full moon energy so that we can start seeing things from a different perspective. So for those of you that are feeling like your back is against a wall, like you're being pushed into a corner, like you're trapped, like you don't know what your options and opportunities are, and you're just feeling like you're about to suffocate, this is the energy that is going to show you that you have a lot more options and opportunities available to you to bust out of this quote unquote trap scenario and situation in order to free yourself from feeling like you're backed into a corner. And in turn, we get the wheels a turning in our mental plane. We start recognizing where it is that we've had a very dark perspective of what's been going on in our lives. And then suddenly there's new light bulbs popping off. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things start making more sense. And this is a high time. Okay, a very high time to do a complete renovation of our internal narrative, getting that dialogue right, rewriting the script, having a better understanding and perspective of the inner workings and the outer workings of our physical realities right now. And that will be bringing us to a totally different attitude, perspective, energy as we move into the full moon day.